Well, welcome to another show, Slot Car Fun. And this time we're going to build a Ostorero Lotus 38. I got a kit from Electric Dreams. It's great. We're here at the studio. This is where we're going to build it. And you're probably wondering about that. Well, we'll get into that in another day, but that's a model I built that's in my office, which I'll just do a quick sort of pan around of. And I put the camera back. Big model of 2001: A Space Odyssey I built. Of course, these guys you probably recognize. And, the Discovery. Lots of rockets, lots of radio-controlled submarines. Oh yes, and the mask that we make here. Let's get past all these models. And I offer these on my website, and they're from Outer Limits and Star Trek and stuff like that. But let's go outside into the bay where it's cold, and I'll show you the Ostorero. Now, I'm not using my fancy 4K camera, and I'm doing this all by hand held. So we're gonna just kind of open it like this. I'm gonna get some more light on the scene here. It's very crowded on this table because I've got so many multiple projects going on. Don't worry, that's not a pipe bomb. It's a watertight compartment for electronics inside my radio-controlled submarines I also run. So let's start with this. This is the body, and this is the Lotus 38 body. This thing is really magnificent. I don't know if he 3D prints these or not. Looking at it for a long time under very angular light, I suspect it's not, but again, it's hard to tell 100% for sure. He does have a plug that goes inside the mold, it looks like. So when he pours the resin in, he pushes the plug into it, and it gives it the exacting interior shape to accommodate everything that goes in here. And we're going to take a look here at the frame. And here's the frame. And the frame is beautiful, and this fits inside of it rather well. How this fits is there's 4 little holes there, and there's holes in the frame, in the body itself, that holds this in position. It's really a nice frame. So let's look at the other stuff in here. And here's the decals. And these are really nice, and as you can tell just by when I move them in the light, they are pre-cut. And we've got seat belts. And this one I really like. These are for the glasses and the helmet, and of course you see that the eyes are in there, which is really a great idea. And all the other decals that go on the Lotus, including its classic stripe, gauges, really nice set of decals. You can only get one sheet, so don't mess up. I love these magnetic pads. I've got a few of them, doesn't everybody? This is the goodie bag, as I call it. So here are our wheels, and they're, I don't know, I've never seen anything like this before. So I got a feeling they make these themselves. There's the grub screw, goes in there. These are just beautiful. So that's all those. A lot of little screws. You do not want to lose those. Here's the tires. Let me see if I can get a little bit more light in here. I think that's better. All right, so the tires, and yes, they are Firestone tires. Feeling these tires, they're nothing like Scale Electric or anything else. I suspect they're urethane. I don't think they're silicone, but he's got probably metal molds for these. I could be wrong, but it sure looks like it. He's got a 2-part mold, and it looks like they're injected. They probably have to be, but Then again, I don't know for sure. But these tires are beautiful, and I know they're going to work well just by feeling them. I am not going to true these. I am not going to sandpaper these down because I want this car to look as scale as it possibly can to the actual car, which he's attempted to do, right down to the offset on the frame and the suspension that they have on Indy cars. Here's the slot guide. I'm not familiar with the slot guide. It's very typical to other ones out there, but it's really nice. I don't know what it's made out of, but it's probably nylon. Nice screw, a nice little bearing rounder there. We've got our bushings. And I believe these are for the rear. Yeah, they are. Then there's our, I believe this is our roll bar, which goes, I'm looking at, yeah, that's where that goes. That's our roll bar. And this is our crown gear. Little tiny thing. And beautiful. I don't think this is something that's off the shelf either. And then we've got our pinion. So it's going to be, judging by this, I'm not going to have to turn that pinion much to get that to move, to rotate. So, and then it gives us some nice braids here. And these are various screws and grub screws. And this looks like, this I think is the one that goes in the back. This is the roll bar. There's also a bar that goes in the back of this car, which is kind of like an old holdover from the old Offenhauser days, I guess. I'm not sure what these parts are for here. We got some nice nylon washers here. There's no instructions with the kit. That it just gives you pictures. I'll show you later. These are the springs for the shock absorbers. Another nylon piece and a screw in there, and there was a cut in this bag. So some of the stuff leaked out, but it turned out it was in the box. I found it. I don't know how that cut happened. Then I'm going to show you the resin parts that are in here. Okay, a bag of resin parts, and these are so finely made. There's the intakes for the V8, parts for the shock absorbers. These are the insets. More parts for the intakes and the suspension. A driver, really good one. There's the seat. And the whole thing fits inside, despite there being a motor in there, which I'll show you in a minute. Here's the head, which has got the goggles on it. It's kind of hard to see, but the decals will really pop that out. Oh, there's our mirrors, very typical of that era. One of the insets that slipped. Of course, there's the exhaust. And I mean, you can see how thinly cast these are. It's obvious he's using an evacuator, and he's also using probably a pressure pot. There's the steering wheel, just beautiful, and it fits, of course, right in a hole that that's in the plate, metal plate for the dashboard, which I'll show you. And here's the canopy, really nice. We're just about down to it. Here's some real small parts, the grill for the intake and the nose, and some these round ones I believe go on the in here. These round parts right here, I believe. We're gonna find out. He gives you a really good layout, parts number, and then here's the dash here and the suspension parts. And since there's no instructions, I'm assuming that I don't solder these. As I recall, they fit right into notches very cleanly, and you just use a little bit of CA. So you get a really clean clean weld of sorts. And here's the motor, tiny little thing, and of course that fits right into here. And so here is, these aren't instructions, but what it is, I love this. It says, kit to build for expert modelers, only for adult people. Attention, not for children. I love it. Very true. And you see all the parts are numbered on the parts layout here, which is really nice, because then when you see over here, the various parts put together, like the shock absorbers, you can see 18, 18, 16, 16. The springs are 88 and 89 and 8. No, the insides that the springs fit over are 88 and 89. Those are all resin parts. And then over here, it shows you the suspension parts, which you can see very clearly there, how that all goes together. So you really don't need instructions. If you've built things like this before, it's quite apparent. So, and they're clear photographs, and I just love the fact that we got the full driver, you know, and the metal dash. Yeah, this kit is absolutely incredible. I mean, I've had a lot of kits, and you know, this one, for being so complete, is just amazing, all the stuff that's in it. Now, what I'm seeing here is it shows these parts here. I don't have these parts, but they're not numbered either. And there's another thing here, and they're not numbered. So I'm not sure what that was for, but obviously it doesn't go with this kit because they weren't in there. Amazing, really an incredible kit, and I can't wait to start getting my grubby hands into this model and building it. I'm going to start with the suspension and the frame and building all that first. And once I get all that built, then I'll start working on the body. I actually sent Daniel, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, or maybe it's just Daniel, a request saying, what are these bodies painted with? Because the last thing I want to do is put the decals on this and hit it with the clear coat I use and then have it react. So hopefully he'll get back to me and tell me whether it was a lacquer or enamel base, so we don't have a problem. So one time I did that and found that the clear coat I was using, this stuff called liquid clear, which is amazing stuff, it crinkled up the decals. And what I learned is if you spray the decals lightly with it, let it dry, maybe even wait a day. I know it's hard, you get excited, but wait a day, do another coat, wait a day, then hit it so it's real wet looking, and you won't have that problem, and that's worked for me. Anyway, I'm gonna get my grubby hands into this thing.